Well, we were supposed, of course, we were supposed to play, and we didn't play, and we were supposed to bust out on Thursday. So we just met on Friday, gave him the weekend off, and we'll go back to work today.
And where are you at as far as availability for your guys? I mean, are you going to be full strength with what you have on this week, or
where are
you at?
We won't be full strength, but I've yet to get the final report. I'll find out a lot today when I go to practice, and to find out where we were coming off last week. I know we weren't even close to full strength last week if we had we played, but we'll find out where we're at today. And then with all the testing and stuff, I think our test is on Wednesday, so anymore I don't find anything out till Friday, so I just adapt and adjust and deal with it.
Dom Williams, one of those that you're waiting to find out on, Coach, or is maybe a week for him made you more optimistic about his availability for Saturday?
I think that one, I'll probably know. I'll have to see him run today to see what he looks like and to see where he's at, because seriously on Thursday, we got the word at 9 o'clock Thursday morning. I got the first message, and then it wasn't final until noon, and we were packed and ready to go. So when we got the word that we were free and clear, you know, then that we weren't going to play the last weekend, that's when kind of lost touch a little bit with, just gave them the weekend off so they could heal, give them time to regroup, because we never had an open date, so that was going to be the 7th game in a row straight through. So we used it like an open date and just kind of gave them the weekend off and tried to get fresh. So didn't bring them in to lift and didn't bring them in to do anything. They just had to hit the training room, and then, like I said, so today when I go to practice, I'll kind of find out what's going on with availability and where these guys actually are.
And then kind of going back to what we talked about last week with Will coming out of COVID protocol, is he on track this week to be a 100% participant in practices?
Yes, yeah, he will be, because he got ramped up last week, so he was out, and then last week was his 25, 50, 75% practices that he had to go through. So he should be, unless something happened over the weekend I'm not aware of, he should be good to go.
Coach, go ahead, Jeff.
Jeff Kopak in Fargo. What's it like to be a head coach these days in a transfer portal environment, an FCS head coach?
Oh man, it's challenging. I mean, anymore, everybody's got the app now that your phone dings when somebody hits the transfer portal, and it's amazing the number of players versus the scholarships available. That's what's really starting to show up to me is the availability and of the scholarships that are out there, but yet the availability of the players. I mean, it's really getting disproportionate, is in my view, but it's tough to be in. It's a challenge to be in, but it's a part of college athletics right now. I'm watching basketball, and they're going back and forth and losing players and gaining players, and it's like free agency.
You have to resist thinking about the talent that was in this game in 2019 and what's left since then in both programs.
Oh, how about that? How about that, man? As you know, the talent that would have been on the field in this particular game last fall may have been the best ever in this league. And you're talking multiple draftable players as much as free agents and the type of talent. So, yeah, absolutely. I think we both missed an opportunity for our fans to really see the level of ball that was here this past fall. We got great players now, but at the same time, and so do you, but it was much different when a lot of those guys have now gone on and went into the draft.
Carson Smith had, what, a 42-inch vertical jump at his size, and have you ever seen such a, I mean, you saw it on the field, but that to me is out of this world testing.
Yeah, 265. He hit his head on the ceiling. It was he got up and he was always explosive, but then he put the weight on, he put the strength on to match the explosiveness. So that's what stood out to me on his testing day. And then when I watched Spencer Brown, come in and do what he did, numbers wise, and then grow into what he became over the 5 years here. So I think what really happened, Jeff, like you're seeing, is we're going to miss the days of fifth-year seniors that have been developed from start to finish, and You know, that's the hard part right now, because you really have to stay at a school to get developed from start to finish. I mean, if you get in a school like ours, like yours, because I know you're a strength coach too. I mean, to go from point A to point B as 18-year-old to 20, 22, 23, to me, that's how you make it. You go in there, you do the work, you do the time, and you're in a great, consistent program from start to finish, you make gains. It's when you start jumping around trying to find that match that I don't know if you really get fully developed. You get an opportunity to play with somebody else, but I don't know that you develop in the way that you can, particularly in this league.
Now, my last question is looking ahead. At what point do we stop testing and get down to can we continue to live like this the way we are next fall?
You know,
when does testing stop?
Testing, that's a great question, because who's going to make that decision of when testing stops? But I do believe this, that once, with all the vaccines that are still out there, I mean, I can just tell in our vicinity anyway, there's a light at the end of this tunnel. When that is, we hope will be sometime this summer. But there is a light. It's just all this testing does disqualify a lot of people right now, whether they're false positive or positives. They're all treated the same. So, yeah, I do believe and I sense a light at the end of the tunnel just by what's kind of I'm seeing in our area right here. But then you go back and watch you guys get canceled for 2 weeks in a row and us get canceled last week, and you feel like you're still in the middle of it. So, kind of depends on what day it is.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mark, when it comes to the matchup against North Dakota State, just starting with what your offense will be going up against, what do you see from NDSU's defense this season?
Oh, they're the same. I mean, you can put on a film from 5 years ago, a film from 5 weeks ago. They all look the same. I mean, players are different, but it's the same thing. I think they could say the same thing about us. You know, you look at what they do, you look at what we do. There's not a lot of differences because we've both been around. We've both been consistently on top in this league, and usually when you're doing the right things, you stay with those things.
And then when it comes to your defense going up against their offense, obviously there's been the change at quarterback for them, or changes at quarterback for them this spring. What really sticks out to you about what that challenge will include?
Well, I think the offense is the same. It's just what they can do at the quarterback. I mean, the offense changed when they had Wentz. The offense changed when they had Lance, and the offense is tweaked a little bit to fit the quarterback they're playing with now. So they tweak it a little bit based off the talent at the quarterback position, but it's the same. I think everybody here could draw the same basic plays that they're going to run, and then they're going to tweak it a little bit based off who their quarterback is.
You know, Mark, like you said, a lot's still the same in terms of what these teams do and how they get it done. In watching you guys this spring, though, you're running a lot more pistol formations, formations under center, just plainly formations we haven't seen near as much of if you look at the past 3 to 5 seasons. What was the biggest factors in provoking that change?
Well, I think it's more probably the verbiage, is the structure. If you change the structure a little bit, you change the defense a little bit. I mean, there's ways to fit defenses, and structures, formations dictate how you fit them. And I think you see a little bit of that right now is you're just trying to change those things. A lot of people are picking up what other people do across the country. I mean, there's a lot of formations in the boundary now that there wasn't there before. That's a structure to me of how to handle that. There's whether you're in empty sets or whether you're in full backfield set. I mean, North Dakota State's a great example. They're going to be in a empty set as much as they're going to be in a power I, 2 tight end. I mean, everybody in the box fits. So everybody's just changing structures, and then as they change structure, it's a way to deceive a little bit, but also just to line up and play. And so, yeah, I think you see that even from both teams.
Coach, this is always a big game, but for you guys, with the playoff picture and the teams that aren't going to be there, that are going to be there, this could propel you back into that picture. Is it that big of a game for you guys? You put that much emphasis on it? I mean, there's a lot of emphasis on it anyway, but would this propel you back in the playoff picture?
I don't know I just know I'm getting ready for this one, and honestly, when you started saying that, I wasn't even thinking that in that regard, coming off of COVID. cancellation. I mean, that hurt, going through that whole thing. And it kind of, you were up and running. Before, I didn't notice it because we were just playing straight through, and it was our 6th game. We're going to the 7th one. I think we've played more games than anybody, as far as we've been fortunate enough not to get canceled until Friday morning. And when that happened, it kind of changed your feeling about this whole thing, at least for me, because we were moving along and just kind of somewhat of a normal football season. But then when we lost a game, then all the challenges reared its head, and the things that go along with it, of all ramped up, ready to play, and then the rug gets pulled out from underneath you. And it's not fair to the players, and it's really disheartening. And then you have to overcome that emotion as much as the game itself. And it would have been a lot easier to overcome the emotion of a game than it would be of the loss of a game, meaning that you lose the opportunity to play the game. So that's the challenge right now. It's not just winning and losing football games. It's having a team ready, then losing a player because of COVID, and then trying to get another guy ready within 12, 24 hours. I've dealt with it every week that I've had a new football team, but that wears you out, and you kind of lose the fact of, at the end of the day, that's the purpose of playing this thing, is all the things you mentioned. So I got to get back to that mindset, but right now it's just trying to figure out who we have to play with before I start to get too concerned about even how to make the plan to win with.
Has there been any conversation after that cancellation of maybe using that bye week to find another team that lost a game, even if it was playing the same team twice?
That was my thought, but I don't know if it was anybody else's thought, because our league is our league, and most of our league is playing the last weekend already. We left that open, and that's all filled up for the most part. So, and I think you'll probably see a lot of other teams, maybe even throughout this week or next week, that will just shut it down and get ready for fall football. So again, I think there's still news that'll break as the week progresses from teams across the country, because this is really getting ugly right now as far as the number of games that are being played and how to decide who's doing what. So we're just going to take care of our team and let everything kind of take care of itself, and we just need to get ready to play this Saturday.
Coach, last week would have been the return of Will McIlvaine to practice. As you said, he would have been likely to start this past Saturday. What did you see from him in practice? Is he on track to be the starter again?
Oh, he'll start this weekend. Yeah, he'll start. It was the same as, it was just, I think he was probably fresh again, coming off 2 weeks' notice. He was how do I say it? He was I don't want to say raw. He was rusty. All right, but he was fresh. So there's a trade-off on that, sitting out 2 weeks. So 14 days sitting in your house will tend to give you a little anxious to get back. But at the same time, you're a little rusty when you get back too.